nothing. I mean, they weren't allowed to have it at all. So, at our school, a student may use their cell phone in between classes, at lunch, before school, or after school. The only time that they are not allowed to use their cell phone is when they walk through that threshold of that classroom. Now, there are teachers that utilize cell phones in classes, which they put down in their lesson plans, and that's an individual thing. Some teachers have a cell phone holder that I know one of our AP teachers, the students walk in and they drop it into that thing so they're not tempted to take it out. Over the years, we've checked our data, and referrals for use of cell phone have dwindled year after year because we've opened this up. For some reason, it just is right where they can walk out and look at Snapchat, Instagram, text, whatever, or you may need to get a hold of it, okay? In previous, we would have a lot of things where a student would go, "Oh, it's my mom," you know, and they're like, "Yeah, it is," but they can't use it. So now, a student can use their cell phone at those times during the day. There are consequences if a student uses a cell phone in a classroom that's not, you know, under the direction of the teacher. Okay, now I'm going to show you those in just a second. New this year for us is the headphone and the earbud and all the things they put in their ears to listen to music and such. Those are only allowed to be worn before school, after school, and during lunch. It's a safety issue, okay? If a student's walking across the hall and we need to get a hold of them, it's hard to, you know, get their attention because they're listening to music, okay? So that's the newest change for the cell phone policy. If they have those earbuds in, if they have their cell phones out, the first offense is the confiscation of the phone that goes to the dean's office, okay? I don't put that phone in my pocket and take it home or anything like that. I mean, y'all know how much an iPhone is. I don't want to pay for that. They'll get it taken away, and it goes to the dean's office, and they receive 3 after-school detentions. Our detentions are Wednesday afternoons for 35 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes. The second offense, get the phone taken for the day, they receive it at the end of the day, and they'll get 1 day of in-school detention. That's in our building 2, that's where they sit isolated from the regular general classrooms. On the third offense, same thing, confiscation of the phone for the day, and they'll receive 1 day of out-of-school suspension. We were under, Mr. Miller's not here, I think it was 8 second offenses this past year. 0 third offenses for cell phones, okay? I will say that we have had first offenses, okay? But our numbers are very, very small. So we're really pleased about that. And I think it's an added benefit for you as parents also. I have a student that's here. I might need to text her also. So I know that they'll receive that text within the school day. Now, students who fail to turn their cell phone over to an administrator will receive further disciplinary action. That is very few and far between, maybe 1 a year. Typically what we do on that is we get you involved, okay? And that's what we want to do, is get you involved on something like that. Bullying harassment, which obviously you've heard 1,000, if not 1,000,000 times about bullying harassment. Okay, we take it very seriously. The district policy, state policy, everything for the statute. Bullying means systematically and chronically inflicting physical hurt or psychological distress on 1 or more students or employees. It is further defined as unwanted and repeated written, verbal, or physical behavior, including any threatening, insulting, or dehumanizing gesture by a student or adult that is severe or pervasive enough to create an intimidating, hostile, or offensive educational environment, cause discomfort or humiliation, or unreasonably interfere with the individual's school performance or participation, and may involve, but is not limited to, unwanted teasing or taunting, social exclusion, threat, intimidation, stalking, physical violence, theft, sexual, religious, or racial harassment, public humiliation, or destruction of property. Again, we take it very seriously. If you have any inclination of any kind of bullying or harassment going on with your student, another student, anything like that, all of those bullying complaints can be made to us, anybody at the school, our Dean of Students, Mr. Milligan, our school resource officer, a teacher, and they will, or through the website, we have the forms are online as well for bullying harassment, and those come to the district website, which are then sent to us. And we are required to investigate that within a certain amount of time, and we do. And we will be in contact with you immediately in regards to that. Technically, the definition of bullying is a repeated offense, as you saw on there, okay? A one-time thing we're going to deal with, so you still need to bring it in front of us. It may not be bullying, but if we can get it the first time, that's what we want to do. We want to stop it, cut it out, put it into it, and move on from there. If there is a bullying harassment complaint, these are the procedures. Notification to the parents of the bully or harassment incident. We interview separately the complainant, alleged bully, victim, and corroborating witnesses. Collect the facts, evaluate the facts, recommend remedial steps necessary to stop the behavior if it's unwanted, and the appropriate consequences will be administered. We always involve not only our Dean of Students, but our school resource officer in this. If there's something that happens at the middle school, and it's with our middle school and high school, we'll involve the school resource officer at the middle school as well as administration over there as well. Please, 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 you have to make us aware of it for us to know about it, okay? When something happens and you come to us and say, well, it's been going on for X amount of time, but if we didn't know that, it's hard for us to do anything about it. So please, contact us. Hazing means any act or situation that recklessly or intentionally endangers the mental or physical health or safety of a student for purposes including but not limited to initiation or admission into or an affiliation with any organization operating under the sanction of a high school with grades 9 through 12. If you have any knowledge of this, it needs to be reported immediately to us, okay? You can still do it through the district website or to anybody here at the school. If you want to put this phone number in your phone right now, please feel free to do it. This is our school-wide tip line. It's sponsored by the NACDAC organization. This is a very valuable tool, not only to students, but to parents. It is anonymous. It only comes to 3 people on our campus. That's me, the resource officer, and the Dean of Students. Middle school probably is in the same boat with that. If you have something that you would like to share with us that might be going on, that you might have knowledge of, but you just don't want to be, recognized, send us the text, okay? We're going to share this with your student at the class meetings as well, and we utilize this a lot, and it's a very valuable tool, like I mentioned earlier. Lastly, the Florida Positive Behavior Support is a district-wide initiative that we started about 3 years ago. The mission is to increase the capacity of Florida school districts to use team-based planning and problem-solving to implement positive behavior support within a multi-tiered system of support. So if you become a parent volunteer or you hear anything about PBS and your son or daughter comes home and says, hey, I got a gift card from Barbaritos today because of good behavior, and you kind of wonder what's going on, well, that's because this is the PBS. They collect gold coins for good behavior. The good behavior can be anything that the teacher wants. It can be an academic-based good behavior. It can be somebody picking up a trash hole in the door, all of that. It's a district-wide initiative that we're trying to initiate a lot more positive behavior rather than everybody just hearing about bad behavior. So good behavior is recognized. We do different activities that we're going to be doing each month where a student can win some type of prize, be rewarded in some way or another. We have looked at our data, and our student achievement has increased because of this. From a school standpoint, we just have to be more consistent with it, and that's our intention as we move